Welcome to Think About It with your host, Jaden Miller.
Good day, and welcome to Think About It with Jaden Miller. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Audrey, Podvine, Amazon, and so many more. I hope that you all are doing well today. Don't forget to check out my website at www.jadenmiller.com. That's JAYDENMILLER.com. All right, well, it is a Tuesday morning, February the 7th, 2023, and I wanted to explore a topic that just came to light on yesterday. It has to do with abortion. Now, I am not taking an opinion or a side on whether abortion should be legal or not. That's not my role here. I have my own opinions, but I just want to explore something that came up yesterday from a federal judge in Washington, D.C., who suggested that there may be a constitutional right to abortion baked into the 13th Amendment, an area she said went unexplored by the Supreme Court in its momentous decision last year overturning Roe v. Wade. In a pending criminal case against several anti-abortion activists, U.S. District Court Judge Colleen Collar-Cotterly said the Supreme Court's ruling in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization concluded only that the 14th Amendment included no right to abortion, but stopped short of definitively ruling out other aspects of the Constitution that might apply. This is what she said. She said it is entirely possible that the court might have held in Dobbs that some other provision of the Constitution provided a right to access reproductive services that had that issue been raised. However, it was not raised. Okay, so this is what Judge Collar-Cotterly is saying, is that, the issue of a right to privacy in the Dobbs case was brought to light. However, they didn't raise another issue that possibly there is a right to an abortion in the 13th Amendment. It was not raised during the 14th Amendment. She also noted that there is some legal scholarship suggesting that the 13th Amendment, which was ratified at the end of the Civil War and sought to ban slavery and involuntary servitude, provides just such a right. She is asking the parties in the criminal case, which involves charges of blocking access to abortion clinics, to present arguments by mid-March. In particular, the judge is asking them to address whether the scope of Dobbs is in fact confined to the 14th Amendment, and whether, if so, any other provision of the Constitution could confer a right to abortion as an original matter, such that Dobbs may or may not be the final pronouncement on the issue, leaving an open question. Now, this is really, really monumental in that, well, who would have thought that using the 13th Amendment as a means in order to state that abortion is legal? Well, let's dive into that. What does the Constitution say? What does the 13th Amendment say? As you all know, or should know, the 13th Amendment was an amendment to the Constitution that forbade in the United States slavery. Okay, it happened in 1865, right after the Civil War. And the 13th Amendment reads, "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction." All right. So in essence, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States and its territories. All right. The key portion of the 13th Amendment that I think Judge Collar-Cotterly is referring to is the part that says involuntary servitude. Involuntary servitude. Now, some people make an argument. The pro-abortion people make an argument. And I'm going to share that argument with you in just a second. But I wanted to share that there is no, one of the defendants in the case that Caller Cottley is referring to, it's a criminal case, and it stems from 10 defendants who were charged with conspiring to block access to a Washington, D.C. abortion clinic. And so their argument is that, they've been charged with conspiracy, but how can they be charged with conspiracy in this case, in this abortion access case, if abortion doesn't exist? Okay, if it's not in the United States Constitution. So their argument is that there is no longer a federal Constitution interest to protect, a right to an abortion. So if that's the case, then why are we still being charged? Why are we still going through the court system for this case? It's some kind of an argument, to make. Whether or not they'll be successful or not is debatable. All right. So with Caller Cottley, the judge, she goes on to say the issue before the court in Dobbs was not whether any provision of the Constitution provided a right to abortion. Rather, the question before the court in Dobbs was whether the 14th Amendment to the Constitution provided such a right. She wrote that that is why neither the majority nor the dissent in Dobbs analyzed anything but the 14th Amendment. In fact, on the court's initial review, not a single amicus brief mentioned anything but the 14th Amendment and the unratified Equal Rights Amendment. All right. So again, what Judge Caller Cottley is doing is she's saying, as it relates to this case and maybe the issue of abortion in and of itself, the 14th Amendment was that sole amendment that was used to determine, initially in Roe versus Wade that it was constitutional, and then just last year that it was not constitutional. All right. So now, having said that, the 13th Amendment that deals with this issue of involuntary servitude was not dealt with. All right. So there is a body of settled law that interprets the 13th Amendment, and according to some, it bears directly on the abortion question. Here it is. The injury of compulsory pregnancy has both individual and social aspects. Forced pregnancy is a deprivation of individual liberty. That deprivation is selectively imposed on women, and women are a group traditionally regarded as a servant caste whose powers, unlike those of men, are properly directed to the benefit of others rather than themselves. Compulsory motherhood deprives women of both liberty and equality, and the 13th Amendment argument responds to both of these injuries. Now, isn't that some argument? Think about it. This is Think About It with J.D. Miller. What does the Constitution say? What does the 13th Amendment say? It says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude. The question is that an acceptable argument? When a woman determines or decides that she does not want to have a baby or does not want her pregnancy to go forth and wants an abortion, is that now involuntary servitude because she does not get to make that choice? Abortion defenders' most common response to Roe versus Wade's weaknesses is to rely on the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, which the Supreme Court has interpreted to guarantee the equality of men and women. A better argument, though, would focus on the physical oppression of losing control over one's body. Once more, this is not the first time America has done this to some women, and so we're referring back to this pre-Civil War. African American women, they did not have a right to their own bodies, and so they were forced to have children that they did not want to have. And on top of that, those children did not belong to them. So at any time they could give birth, and then those children could be sold away, given away, that kind of thing. So that is an issue that I thought was pretty interesting, and something that we ought to think about. All right. Roe versus Wade has been overturned. So at the federal level, there is no constitutional right to an abortion. Okay. The states get to make that decision for themselves. But the argument that the 13th Amendment okay, which prohibits involuntary servitude, is taking us on a somewhat but really uncharted course in legalities as it relates to this whole issue of abortion. So think about that for a minute. Do a little research. Go online and just Google the 13th Amendment and abortion, and read some of the comments that judges and academics have had to make, and see what you think. All right, that's my episode for today. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, and like, comment, and follow on your favorite podcast platform. You can find me on Amazon, Podvine, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Google Podcast, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and so many more. And don't forget to check out my website at www.jadenmiller.com. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Think About It with Jaden Miller. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his YouTube channel, and like and follow on your favorite podcast platform.